4 questions to think about once your story, is locked down, right? Like, who's your main character? Always ask that question yourself, because don't do generic animation or don't try to like copy animation that's already done from another movie. Try to ask, whether it's a male or a female, is he a superhero? Is he a normal guy? Is he someone, what's his personality like? I remember like, when I was working on Arthur Christmas, the main character is, he lacks in confidence. He's got this long, long arms. He doesn't know what to do with it. So his art, his body language, we decided, was always going to be a little hunch over. He's got this really long arms. He doesn't know what to do with it, So that was the character that we all thought about, the directors thought about, right? And it was very distinctly, written that that's how he's going to be his entire time, right? Because that way, when he changes his emotions, let's say he becomes, confident, or if he becomes happy, you'll see that change in his body language. The line of action, right? Like if my character is sad, he's like this. So he's got a this C curve, right? And if he's happy, if he's more confident, he's like this. He's a reverse C. Now, if this line of action shows what my character is feeling, and if that's all you have, there's no expression change or a mood change in your shot, then stick to that line of action. Don't try to change. I've seen animators do this, right? Where let's say a character is sad, okay? And that happened even in my previous class. This character is sad. Let's say he's like this. And he's, like talking to you very slowly. He's like, I had a bad day, blah, 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 right? And then just because like the line is long and they have to add a pose, what they'll do is, I had a bad day. See what you're doing? You're completely taking him out of that mood. As we talk about, like, you always want to make sure that in your establishing shot, you're showing, what the environment is, what the location is, right? Make it very clear. Make sure the camera, for the first shot, right, the establishing shot, you exactly know where the character is. Like, third one is, what does he or she want? Right? Now, this is, as I was saying, your goals and have to be very, for pantomime, it's always easier to have a visible goal. Okay? You always want to make sure that, whatever it is, if it's a money, if it's a gold, if it's a girl, if it's, the boy, whatever you want in your life has to be, in pantomime, try to make it more visible and very clear instead of like just emotions and thoughts. So yeah, that's one thing you want to think about is like, to get that goal, let's see, I'm standing on this one end of the building, and then at the other end of the building is something I really badly need. I know if I just, jump, I'm going to fall, I'm going to die, or I'm going to break my leg or something, I still want it so badly. How am I going to reach there? What am I willing to do? Or for, a simple example as a dog, let's say, I'm sleeping on a toy that my dog wants to play. Right? I'm really tired, and the dog knows that, I'm really tired, and is the dog willing to like wake me up, piss me off to get that toy, because he knows he's going to get punished if he does that, but he still wants that so bad. What is he willing to do, And that's where the comedy is going to come, because he's going to try every possible way, every possible angle without like touching me, right? And when he almost gets that toy or whatever it is, accidentally he pushes something so heavy that it falls on my head, and so he did everything possible, right? Yeah. To get that toy out of me, And then eventually he touched something that, the entire building just collapsed on me, right? So think about like, what is he willing to risk for that? And that's where your comedy is going to come in. Once again, what makes a story unique and memorable, right? Same thing. Is it an interesting character? What's the situation like? Is it from another thing? As I always said, doesn't matter whether it's a fantasy story or whatever it is. Try to make sure that there's some reality involved in it for people to believe in it. Like as I gave you the example of Incredibles, or watch any movie. There's primal factors that we do certain things for in life. When you listen to your dialogue, this is how I animate my dialogue shots, right? I'll the director will give me a storyboard. Right? The director is going to sit me down and he's going to explain me what's happening in that story. What I usually do is before going to the director, I do my little homework. I watch the entire sequence, right? Because every story has a high and low, right? You have, story starts with establishing shot, then you show something is happy, and then something happened, and then something tragic happened, and then there's a happy ending. There's always a high and low in your story. Similar way in your shot, in your sequence, there's a high and low, right? And then not only that, even in your dialogue, when you listen to your dialogue, there's a high and low, right? So I'm thinking about the entire sequence of, where my character is in this shot, in the sequence. Is he sad? Is he happy? Is he angry? What are the emotions, right? And then based on that, my question is, what is the pose that I'm going to put him in? What's his body language going to be, right? So I'm doing all this study in there, and especially so it gets a lot easier because when I listen to the dialogue, I know exactly where, okay, his body should be loud or it shouldn't be loud. It gives me that. With pantomime, I have to write down everything on paper to make sure that all my ideas, are in front of me. Then all my ideas are visually there on my computer.